Pura's Cuentos, How Pura Belpre Reshaped Libraries with Her Stories, written by Annette Bay Pimentel, illustrated by Magali Morales. Pura Belpre needs stories like a mango tree needs sunshine, like a coqui frog needs green leaves. Abuela always has a story. She tells Pura about beautiful Martina. She crows in the voice of Señor Gallo and quacks for Señor Pato. She tells how Perez bows low and asks Martina to marry him. Pura giggles, shivers, sighs. She drinks up Abuela's cuentos. When she is grown, Pura feels the tug of family who have moved far away from Puerto Rico. So she boards a ship. Adios. In New York City, she misses the taste of mango and the call of the coqui. She misses Abuela's cuentos. But Harlem bubbles with its own exciting stories. It thrums with dancing feet and swirling satin. Drums rumble, saxophones wail. In the hush of the 135th Street Branch Library, Pura sees shelves and shelves of stories. She watches a librarian pull a book from the shelf, hand it to a girl. She thinks, if I could do what that lady is doing for the rest of my life, I would be the happiest person on earth. Pura shops, runs errands in the neighborhood, maybe stops to tap her toe to trumpet riffs. The librarian watches Pura chat with Spanish speakers the librarian can't understand. Here's her slide from sí to yes with English speakers. Does she want a job in the library? Sí. Pura reads the books in the children's section, stories from Ireland, from Germany, from Italy. But where is Puerto Rico? Where are Señor Gallo, Señor Pato, Perez, and Martina? Why aren't Abuela's stories on these shelves? Pura is put in charge of story time. Here in the library there are rules, even for storytellers. Light the candle, open the book, tell the story. Oh, Pura can tell a story. She hisses, murmurs, roars. Children lean forward. They giggle, shiver, sigh. She is allowed to tell only stories that have been printed in a book. That's the rule. So she always tells strangers stories. But Pura knows that not all the stories worth telling are in books. She wants to make children giggle at silly Señor Gallo and cry over Perez the mouse. She wants to tell Abuela's stories. Pura decides she will break the rule. She works on crowing like Señor Gallo, kikiriki, booming like Señor Zapo, borom, borom. She practices grand gestures to suggest Perez's fine plumed hat and hums sad melodies for Martina's mournful song. Every word, every action breathes life into the story. It's Pura's turn to tell a story for her bosses. She has watched the other librarians. They light the candle, show the book, read about courageous kings and beautiful queens. She has a different plan. She will tell about a cockroach who falls in love with a mouse. She is going to tell Abuela's story. Do her hands shake? Maybe. But still, she lights the candle. When she turns to face the listeners, her hands are empty. No book? There once lived a Spanish cockroach called Martina. Pura tells Abuela's story just as she has practiced. The mouse squeaked, "Twee, twee." The audience giggles. "Pretty Martina, will you marry me?" Everyone sighs. He lost his balance and fell into the kettle. Shivers and groans. Everyone knows Pura has broken the rule. Her story is not in any book on any library shelf. But what a story! Thanks, Miss Belpre, one of the bosses smiles. I am a little tired of kings and queens. It is decided. Pura may tell her own story, as long as she says that someday it may be made into a book. Children whose families come from Ireland, Germany, Italy, from other parts of the United States, they all flock to the libraries where Pura tells stories. They drink up Pura's stories so new to them. But where are the children whose families already know about Perez and Martina? Where are the children from Puerto Rico, from Venezuela, from Mexico? Walking in the neighborhood, Pura finds them. But she does not see them in the library. Pura wants to tell stories to these children, too. So she spreads the word. Children new to the city, new to English, come to the library. Pura lights the candle. She tells los cuentos in Espanol, some from books, some not. Pura fills the heads of the children with stories, their arms with books. Gracias, they say as they leave the library. They will be back. This library is their library now. As the years go by, Pura continues telling her stories, sometimes in English, sometimes in Espanol. Sometimes she tells them to children crowded into library corners. Sometimes she tells them to students spread across huge auditoriums. She helps children act out the stories and tell them with puppets. Pura's stories become their stories, even though those stories are still not in books. They should be in books. Pura scribbles, scratches out, erases, and begins again. It's hard to get abuela's stories just right on the page. But one day, when Pura reads what she has written, she tastes the tang of the mango, hears the call of the coquille. Many years ago, in a little house with a round balcony, there once lived a Spanish cockroach called Martina. She was a pretty cockroach with black eyes and soft brown skin. Ah, finally right. Abuela's story, Pura's story, the children's story, becomes a book. Because Pura Belpre always knew that many stories worth telling aren't in books. Not yet.